Good morning. It's what do we got? Wednesday, August 25th. Looks like we got some people in here already. Um Ago's in the house. What's up? Div by Zero's in here early and Freak. Blah blah. Thanks for giving the shout out on the Discord. I saw that this morning. I appreciate it. Low Work, 6-8 Spin Drift, KLF, Lisa, Sir Lucky Charms, all ready for another day, starting with Coach B and ending with THB. That's the way. Taiwo, what's up? Good morning. Lisa says, Coach, I emailed you the info for high schoolers. Okay, cool. I'm gonna check that out as soon as I get to work. I'm excited about that. Let's see. Vintegra, good morning. Pete. And then Joseph's in the house. What's up, Joseph? Says, can't wait to see some red this morning. I was so numb to it. Show us that drop, then we'll show you a green rocket. Absolutely. DJ TARDIS, what's up? All right. Yeah, yesterday was fun. We saw a nice little run. We got up to $9 with Clove. About a 10% gain. Kind of trading downwards right now at looks like 875 ish. We did get into the oversold territory just right before I kicked the stream off. Kind of hitting this 870 range. So either way, I'd expect us to probably maybe see a little bit of an attack early on. But we're gapping down. So, we've talked about this on this channel before. Most gaps get filled like 9 times out of 10, and stocks will try to fill those gaps as soon as we open. So, I would imagine my speculation at least is that we're going to see, a continued run. I think this is bigger than just Clove. This has kind of been like across the board. We saw GameStop went up 30% yesterday, AMC 30%. I think BlackBerry went up 10 and continued running into after hours. BlackBerry probably moved the most in after hours out of all of them, I think, from what I saw yesterday. But yeah, it looks like it's going to kind of be an exciting week. I did a video last night kind of on my expectations for all three of those stocks, GameStop, AMC, and Clove. I know last week I had pointed out some interesting kind of theories, I guess you'd call them, that I found on Reddit that seemed to line up, that kind of hinted at all the meme stocks or all the highly shorted stocks starting to pick up momentum this week leading into September 9th. And it seems like that's playing out right now. Obviously anything could change. Max Payne being $8, we can expect that what we've been seeing for the last 3 months almost, us starting to get hammered down in the opposite direction. But I kind of think that maybe they lost control of it this time around. Like, this is another one of those weeks like back in June where now we're going to start closing above Max Payne and eventually, see our liftoff. Just looking around this morning before signing on, not a ton of institutional buying yesterday being reported. I think the only one we saw was Principal Healthcare Innovators, 20,000 shares. If you weren't on yesterday morning, kind of the big buys that we saw recently was the SPDR, the S&P Healthcare Services ETF, 200, almost a little more than 250,000 shares, and then Morgan Stanley, almost 1 million shares, 820,000. And then Jefferies Group with some calls, and I think that's important too because these two are analysts. So at some point, we also saw Credit Suisse a while back purchasing in. So at some point, I would imagine that we're going to see some analyst upgrades for Clove as well. In terms of short interest or short volume, I should say, another thing I was trying to take a look at before we started this morning, I guess first off, I could show you the shares available. Let me refresh that, but it was showing 100,000 a while ago, and it looks like that number is still accurate. Again, I believe this is just through Interactive Brokers because the numbers almost always line up with iBorrowDesk. But short volume yesterday and the day before wasn't nearly as high as we'd been seeing. We haven't been in the 20s in a while. I mean, when you combine in the some of the other exchanges that they report on, as low as 30, these are low numbers. So it seems like shorting's starting to slow down, but we kind of expected that because we knew that shares are starting to run low, right? And this is reported short volume. If we look at chart exchange, where's that at? The one thing I did notice yesterday was 59% of yesterday's volume went to the dark pool. That's absolutely the highest number I think I've ever seen on CLOV. If we short this by percentage, the day before was at 50. We can go all the way back to August 13th and the 12th to see us at 50 and 53, but we almost hit 60% yesterday. So I talked about that a little bit in the past, like the way that they can control these stock prices, at least temporarily, is by routing buying flow into the dark pool, right? And that way it doesn't affect upwards momentum. Now, they can't do that forever, I guess I should point out, because if there's nobody selling in the dark pool, then that means that the market maker that's taking on that buy order is going short the stock. So they're just creating a larger short position by basically selling shares that don't exist. But it does slow down upward momentum. And, I think when it gets to that point, like yesterday, where all of a sudden you run out of shares to short and you're kind of running low on other ways to suppress the price, you got to start, thinking from a market maker standpoint, they got to start routing orders that way. But I don't think that can sustain for too much longer. I mean, because as the price increases like it did yesterday, at some point they still have to go buy back those shares. And by taking on a short position, against upward momentum, it's kind of like, catching a falling knife, or I guess the opposite of it, right? So now they're going to constantly be chasing to buy back those shares, and the price is steadily increasing. Cuckoo Birds in the house. What's up? Good morning. And Ghost. Yeah, Ghost is going to come on here, I think, closer to 6 o'clock. Maybe he'll pop in earlier, but I know Ghost is coming on today. Milan, what's up? Good morning. Present Minds, good morning. Pete says, Coach, what's the utilization? Let's check it out. I looked at Ortex earlier this morning, and let me just refresh this just to make sure. Shares on loan 59.5. Again, the highest I remember ever seeing was somewhere around 61. So this would tell me that if everything was identical, nothing's changed in terms of what shares are being lent out, there could potentially be another 1.5 million shares from the people that Ortex reports from. But my assumption is that probably not, because of the buying that we've seen from June to now. I would imagine that either retail bought up those shares and they're no longer available to be lent out, or maybe some long institutions. But we'll just have to wait and see. But utilization is at 99.26, which, according to this, there's only 70.74% available still. Cost to borrow still isn't ridiculous. 2.19 today, but the average is 10.8, the live average. So looks like 403,000 have been borrowed this morning. If you include that into here, that puts this number up to almost 60 million shares on loan. So not a lot of share availability out there. 7-leaf clover, good morning. Milan says our 100% day is yet to come. Absolutely. Ego says stream's looking better today. I'm glad. I changed some of my settings in my streaming software, and I rebooted the computer right before I started. So one of those probably helped. Kamal, what's up? Anyone catch the sweeps that came in yesterday? Yeah, I was going to go over the options chain in a second. There was a ton of call sweeps that came in. AMC had a ton too. I really think AMC's prime right now for a little bit of a gamma run off the open, especially since they're gapping up right now. Let's see here. How long does it take to show institutional buys on Fintel? Well, so like when institutions make a purchase, they have a certain amount of days. I don't remember what it is, but they have a certain amount of days to report. So if someone was to make a purchase and report it right away, it would probably show up within a day or so. But if they took the full amount of time that they have for reporting, it may not show up for a month. So there's really no solid answer to that question, as far as I know. Scotty, what's up, Scotty? 2 more days till Friday. Let's see here. Tim says such clear numbers. Yeah, the stream looks better today. Shrimply, what's up? Good morning, Josh. What's going on? Are you thinking we revisit the max pain level? It seems we are not following AMC and GME in pre-market. And I know I might be late getting to that, but my assumption is Max Payne's probably going to raise up today. I just put that in the Discord a little while ago that I did notice, and we'll get to the option chain right now, and I'll explain a little further. But a bunch of $8 puts came in yesterday for the this week's expiration, and because of that, now we have puts outweighing calls at the $8 strike, which to me, my assumption would be Max Payne's now going to move up to $8.50. So Max Payne's going to move a little higher, but like I was saying, it seems like they might have lost control a little bit. Like if we see a little bit more push and can get above 9, I don't know if they'll be able to really get it back down there, but I'm expecting that we've seen it happen so much that I'm just kind of expecting that that's what's going to happen is they're going to try to push it between 8 and 8.50. JJ, what's up? Good morning. Dennis, Frankfurt's price of CLOV is 9.33. Yeah, that so I've explained this to a buddy of mine with AMC before. Kind of the same thing. Like when you see the foreign exchanges report, typically what happens, my understanding of it is this, because they're trading on their own. So basically they're letting, let's say you're on the Frankfurt exchange or wherever you're at, you're trading a stock that really doesn't exist, right? So, and hear me out. It's almost as if the exchange is the market maker and they're taking on a naked short position when they're selling it to you, or when someone else is buying, they're basically taking on a naked long position. They're just letting you trade these shares, and now whatever's left at the end, they now have to come in. Let's say at the end of the day on the Frankfurt exchange, there's a difference of 700,000 buy orders for CLOV. Now they have to come into our exchange and buy those shares up to deliver them to their customers. You know what I mean? So eventually what ends up happening is when you see pre-market spikes like here, at 1 a.m., that's why you'll see a lot of volume coming in like there at 1 a.m., is because that's the first opportunity that a lot of the foreign exchanges have to come in and balance their books, like, make up for all the differences in buy and sell orders. So they might come in and dump shares into our exchange, or on a day like today, like where Frankfurt's price went up, that means they're more than likely they have to come in and grab shares from our exchange. So that's my understanding of it. So like, I guess what my point was is it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get up to 933. But at the same time, that's probably, it could be used as an indication of where this stock is going to be heading and where sentiment is. So I'm expecting this to get above 9 today for sure. Kamal says we need to see 10 so we can all have those numbers. Getting crazy. Yeah. And let me catch up, and then I'm going to Low Work. What's up? Good morning, Papa Clove. The family says Coach Fire Gary. What's up with Gary? Let's see here. Yeah, similar to Webull pre-market trading. Also, when you see like Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade, they allow some equities to be traded basically around the clock, 24 hours a day. Like I can go in at 11 o'clock at night and buy some SPY or Apple or like some of the bigger stocks like that, and they'll allow you to do it. But at the end of the day, whatever happens with that stock price, um, it could be indicative of what's to come, because let's say there's a ton of buying coming in and now all of a sudden there's all this buy pressure. Well, that means at 1 a.m. Thinkorswim is going to go in, or TD Ameritrade, and have to buy all that stock on the open market, which may end up making it rise. And I know they got algorithms and things that usually will try to level things out in that regard. Um, Pete says, Coach, do institutions follow institutions when it comes to buying? So do they follow the money like many retail investors? You know what? I don't know. I would imagine, I think a lot of it comes with like, analysts. And I mean, there's thousands of stocks out there, and some of the larger institutions and investing firms have their own analysts on staff that are just looking for undervalued stocks, long-term stocks, all that kind of stuff. But then when you get to hedge funds, um, you know, I think some of them work in conjunction with each other, and some of them work against each other, right? Like they're just, for as many people that are short this stock, there's going to be other hedge funds that smell blood in the water and say, "Oh, let's go in there and move that price higher and screw over, so and so." I hear lots of people badmouthing Robinhood. Any reason not to use Robinhood? Man, the biggest reason is January. And I know I said I'll get to the option chain, but GameStop was on its way to infinity back here, trading upwards of this is on January 28th. Getting ready to bust through at 483. Nothing but volume, just on a steady rise. And Robinhood disabled the buy button, no longer allowed their clients to buy the stock. And at the time, some crazy number of GameStop shareholders and buyers, percentage wise, a lot of them were coming from Robinhood. So what they did was they essentially turned off the buy pressure. And while they came out and said, "Oh, all these other institutions did it too," that's not true. I remember that day I was able to buy on Thinkorswim, on TD Ameritrade. The only thing a lot of the other institutions did was, um, they basically up margin requirements, but they still allow buying. And then on top of that, that's not the only time that's happened. I've never used Robinhood, but a lot of people that have, friends of mine, or even just from what I've seen on social media, have reported in the past that even when crypto starts running, all of a sudden they have all these problems where you can't sell, or they won't allow you to buy. It just seems like they're always having some kind of fishy issues. And part of that is, especially with crypto and what happened with GameStop back in January, is essentially Robinhood was kind of trying to play like the bookie or the casino. Like, instead of just routing your orders and sending them to a market maker, and then filling your order, because they were doing all those fractional shares and everything else, they were basically betting on their users losing. So they were kind of taking on the buy orders. So, let's say, just as an example, 1,000 of their customers together purchased 1 million shares. Instead of Robinhood actually delivering 1 million real shares into their account, they were basically giving them fake shares, and then in their mind saying, "Okay, well, I'll give you fake shares today at 300. When the price drops down to 250, then I'll go in and buy it back, and I'll make the money off the difference." Well, it backfired on them, and the stock continued to rise. Now, I would also assume that that's what they're doing with cryptocurrency, because I'm not an expert by any means with like crypto markets or blockchain technology, but my understanding is, and again, I don't use Robinhood, that like if I go buy Bitcoin in my Coinbase wallet, that's my wallet, right? So now I can give someone the address to my wallet. They could send me Bitcoin. I could send it to them. Same thing with Trust Wallet and a lot of the other popular crypto wallets. Now, I could be wrong, but my understanding is Robinhood it's not actually a wallet. which makes me believe that like you can't take your Robinhood crypto and send it to somebody else, and they can't send it to you. You could just buy and sell on their exchange, which, if true, to me means that they're basically letting you trade fictitious shares or tokens of these cryptocurrencies. And then when you decide to sell, now they'll have to go in and make up the difference. So essentially, they're shorting their customers in that regard too. That's my understanding, but I don't use Robinhood, so I can't really I don't really know. All right, family, I see. So your name's Gary. All right, I got you. I got you. Michael, what's up? What's up? Um, let's see here. Julio's in the house. What's going on? Jason, good morning. Your pal Al, what's up? Um, and they sell your data to hedge funds. That's how they make their money. So it's really not free trading. But a lot of other people do that too. I mean, Webull does it. Shit, TD Ameritrade does it. And, payment for order flow, I think in some regards is good. But just like everything, it gets abused, right? I mean, I think commission free trading is great for, a lot of new investors. There's a lot of people that probably would not be trading if they had to, pay those commission fees. When I first started trading, I remember I had to pay, those fees, and it was basically every in and out you were paying a fee, and it gets expensive, especially if you want to scale out a position. Let's say I have 100 shares and I want to sell 25, sell 25, sell 25, and then sell 25. I just paid that fee 4 times. So, I definitely can get expensive when you got to pay those commission fees, especially when you're just starting out. And so I think that, on the good side, Robinhood and other people offering commission-free trading helps bring in new retail investors. But I think, on the other end of it, once you're trading with, let's say, like a $25,000 account, maybe you should have the option of turning off your payment for order flow. That might be a solution too, and that way it's not so lopsided where you have certain people basically buying information and being able to beat retail to the punch. Joseph Scott, what's up? Thank you for the super sticker. Really appreciate it. I can't say that enough. I know that's not the first one you've ever given to, so I appreciate the support, man. For real, thank you. Jason, what's up? Good morning. Your pal Al says smash that like button. And Justin says Coach sounds awake. Yeah, I got up early again, got some coffee. Went to bed early last night though too. It was the lack of sleep was starting to catch up to me. So let's look at the options chain real quick. It looks like I caught up, and I want to get to this before Ghost comes in. So if we take a look at this yesterday, this is what I was kind of pointing out, was the $8 strike right now is showing $9 or 9,000 open interest on put side, 8,000 on the call side. Yesterday, we were, I want to say, outweighing at the 750 mark, but it wasn't by a lot. It was like maybe, again, I could be totally wrong on these numbers, but something like 3,000 here to like 2,500 here. So puts came in and started outweighing at the $8 strike and the 750, which should raise Max Payne up. So in my assumption now, Max Payne should go up to 850. On top of that, though, we did see a ton of volume come in yesterday, and it does look like we have an increase now in calls at the 850, which are going to open up or set to open up in the money right now. $9 is going to be huge with, almost 20,000 differential there. And then 10 is also huge. The 12, so kind of some of the familiar strikes that we've seen throughout the entire chain. And 15, and we'll get to TRADYTICS in a second and kind of show that, but 15 is also a strike that throughout the entire CLOV chain is just absolutely insane. Before we go to TRADYTICS, though, I want to show AMC. AMC saw a ton of volume come in today too. This $40 strike now, And mind you, AMC has a 3 times bigger float almost than CLOV, so it's going to take a lot more for AMC to kick off a gamma squeeze. But AMC got a ton of call volume come in yesterday. All of this is outweighing puts that's already in the money, which makes for good gamma squeeze potential. Like, think about it in this way: for CLOV right now, right here at the money, we only have 2 strikes that are outweighing puts. When you look at AMC's option chain, you can take it all the way back to probably somewhere around this $35 strike where the calls start outweighing the puts. That's good for strength, for holding the price. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see AMC probably run the hardest today again, and kind of lead the pack just based off the option chain. And that's just based off today's or this week's option chain and the volume that came in yesterday. If we look at GameStop, much smaller float and a lot lower volume, so it takes a lot less to move GameStop. So even just 1,000 differential with GameStop, I've seen really move this stock. And GameStop seems to have some build up here from the 210 down to the 230, and then the major numbers like 250, 300, 330 it looks like. And they did add in a bunch of new options today, and this is something that even for CLOV that you guys should be prepared for. So like with GameStop yesterday, ran up $30, getting the price up to 210. So now you see they extend the option chain out to 450. Why do they do that? One, they always want to be in the middle. That's where market makers want to play it. But two, if anything, they want you to come in and buy these cheap calls, short dated calls, and piss your money away. That's what they want. So they'll continue to extend the chain. They did it with AMC yesterday too. They added in the 85, 90, and 95 strike on the weeklies. On the monthlies with AMC, we already had, where's it at? November. Oh, there we go. It already went up to 145, but everything that got added in since it got hammered back down to 30, basically just got extended today out to 95, I think. But that doesn't mean it's going down because they extended it, but really what you need to kick off a gamma squeeze or continue a gamma squeeze when that happens, and I'm saying this just for educational purposes too, as we learn with CLOV, they're going to continue to, let's say today AMC closes at 60, then they're going to extend the option chain to 120. But in order to keep moving up, you need calls to fill in here. Like, they're going to need the 51 strike to the 59 strike to continue to build up. Then you're going to need all this right here to build up. So you need people, more than likely institutions, to come in and whales to come in and start filling in the gaps in the chain in order for you to be able to continue gamma squeeze and blow it out. If we look at TRADYTICS, and I'll just pull up Clover real quick. Let me refresh this. So there was a ton of call sweeps coming in yesterday. I don't know if this updated yet or if it waits until tomorrow, but that way you can kind of get an idea of what the entire chain looks like. $9 is a huge strike price. I know that's small on the screen, but it's basically 46,000 calls versus 6,000. So a difference of 4 million shares at the $9 strike, a difference of basically 4 million shares at the 10, 4 million shares at the 12. And then if we jump out here to the 15, again, probably 5 million share differential there. So a lot of volume here. And that's why I say if this price can get up to let's say the $15 mark, I think these calls will give us the push to maybe 20. And then at that point, this 15 will become 100% hedged, which could push us out to 25. But I don't see enough volume or open interest in here to really get us to 43 yet. But we still got time for that. With the amount of sweeps we saw that came in yesterday, I would imagine we'll continue to see that as the day goes on. And that's really just the big players coming in and helping fuel this thing. People who are already super long the stock and want to come in and leverage their cash to continue getting it moving. Big Daddy Roro's in the house. Let's get that cheddar today. Raj, what's up? Good morning. Can't remember which article I read, but it stated that yesterday's run up to on all meme stocks was a coordination by retail investors. Yeah, I think there's more to it. I mean, kind of like you're saying, like retail investors have been just buying and holding. And I think for the most part, a lot of people are out of dry powder, right? I mean, like I kind of had this theory, or I read this theory last week, as to why things would start picking up last week, or this coming week. I read it last week as to why things would start picking up this week. But shit, even I didn't have a ton of dry powder, so I bought a little bit more CLOV. I bought a couple GME calls to add onto my GME position, and I really wanted to jump in, heavy on AMC because I believed in the theory, and I didn't have enough dry powder to really get after it the way I wanted to. And I guess my point being is, I think most retail that's been into these stocks, no matter it's GameStop, AMC, BlackBerry, CLOV, anything else, they've been holding. It's not like everybody just got this cash infusion overnight and that's what made this thing move. I think there's more to it than that. I think it's the future rollovers or something having to do with those dates where we're starting to see, and it could even have to do with the repo market, but where they have to basically close out positions and roll them in to open up new ones. And I think that really has something to do with it. I mean, it just seems too correlated to make anything different. I mean, why is it that we saw a run up in March, right around the same time frame that correlated to the run up in June, and now again we're looking at a third time 3 months later, exactly 2 to 3 weeks before those specific dates, the September 9th date or the September 17th date, however you want to look at it, but it correlates perfectly so that again we're seeing these run-ups again, and it's happening across the board. So maybe they just don't want us to catch on and realize that that's what's happening, so they want them to just put the information out there that all of a sudden we're coordinating buys. But I'll tell you this much, if we don't go to the moon this time around, I'm damn sure going to be looking for this jump again, leading up to the next rollover date. I mean, if everything works out the way that it did in June and in March for all these stocks, I would definitely say that it's not a coincidence anymore when it happens a third time. Do you have any access to any dark pool data? I mean, TRADYTICS does have a dark pool tab. We could check it out right now and just see what it looks like. Usually it'll kind of report where the biggest orders came in. So this is what the TRADYTICS dark pool summary looks like. Not reporting anything so far today, but you can also look in here and see like the specific levels. Historical data 819 at the 750 mark, a big block trade. But see, it's only showing you like large, massive orders on the dark pool. It doesn't show, like by the second orders coming in and order flow coming into the dark pool or nothing like that. So, but it's still interesting data. Throughout the day, it'll show you how many buy orders and how many sell orders came in, how many were dark pool trades, how many were block trades, and kind of give you a sentiment on the dark pool if it's bullish on the day or bearish, something like that. I know you're saying 15, then we can gamma squeeze, but I just want to be in high nines already. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I'm just talking about possibilities. All of these strike prices on the option chain, though, because of the gamma squeeze potential, I think is where we're going to see the heaviest resistance. So I think we're going to, we're above 878 right now. Any bulls, whales that are out there that are giving us support are going to make sure we hold that level, or try to, if we're starting to get driven down. And then in the opposite direction, as we're going up, we're going to catch resistance at 9 If we could bust through 9, we're going to catch even more resistance at 10, because getting above 9 and 10 alone as we approach expiration for this week, which only has today's Wednesday, so 2 more days left after today, that has the potential to at least give us a little bit of a gamma ramp, right? So let's say we get into the $10 range and we hold it throughout the week. Now, as we approach Friday, the delta on those calls is going to slowly increase. So let's see here. Let me make sure I have my delta pulled up. So right now, the delta on, let's go up here. The delta on the 9 is only 0.47. The delta on the 10 is 0.26. So if we were to, but even if you look at in the money, the $8 call is only 0.75 right now. So there's still 25% of whatever those shares are. I took off open interest to get to this, but that hasn't been hedged. But as we get closer to Friday, everything that's in the money is going to slowly move to 0.99 and eventually 100%. So if we can get above $10 and hold it all week, every minute that passes on Friday is going to create buying pressure in itself. Maybe not enough to kick off an actual gamma squeeze this week, but at least enough to support us in closing above 10 and possibly even getting a push into 11 or 12 and after hours on Friday. Again, that's all hypothetical, but yeah, I think baby steps for sure. Let's get above 9. Let's get above 10. But this is exactly how things played out in early June too, in late May. Exactly. Holiday option, what's up? I'm hella behind in the chat too, guys. Mike in DC, what's going on? Louis, Scotty's in the house. I saw you already. LAX. Let's see what's going on. Michael says if it's a 3-month trend, you rack and stack dry powder for that event date. Was interesting. We didn't see any dark pool prints yet yesterday. I saw the same thing. There was nothing, but then at the same time, almost 60% of the volume that came in yesterday was on the dark pool, which also kind of goes even more to the point that it was probably just retail buy orders that were getting sent in there because we didn't see any huge prints. What's up, stars? What's going on? Okay, so Joseph asking about Max Payne. I refreshed it a bunch of times and it's still showing 8, but my assumption is that's going to change to 850 because a bunch of $8 puts came in yesterday, which should push it up to 850, but we'll have to see where that takes us. Mikey B. The waffle maker says AMC seems to be moving a little. Yeah, I really think of all of these just from an unbiased perspective, and you guys that have been on here with me know I'm heavy in CLOV, I'm heavy in GameStop. AMC is just a stock that I've been jumping in and out of. But just looking at the option chain, I think AMC has the most potential to kind of run off the open right now. It's just it's deep in the money and it's gapping up right now, up to another strike price. And I feel like, that's one that's probably, going to see some momentum right away. It's just by nature of the option chain. A stock hunter said, check out CLNE. Sorry, I wasn't trying to, I don't know anything about this, but it looks like it's on a run as well. If that's, and this could all be correlated too, like, because I know that was a popular kind of meme stock, in the last 3 months from what I recall. And, kind of like with CLOV. Oh yeah, it looks like it ran up in February and it's kind of been on a decline ever since. Yeah, I don't know much about this stock. I couldn't really tell you. But I do remember this run up right here in June. I don't know. I mean, in terms of CLNE, I don't really know enough about it, and I know I feel like a broken record. I've been saying this for a while. Early on in my streams, I used to always like kind of jump in and start looking at other stuff and do research. And now I'm just getting to the point where it's like with school just started and I got football practice and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I haven't had time to even stay fully on top of Clove and keep up and um all the other stocks. DraftKings is a stock that I got a long-term position I've been building in. Damn, that one's gapping up again today, it looks like. I would imagine, not to get off topic too, but I'm just really imagining the closer and closer we get to football season, we're going to continue to see these little mini catalysts out of DraftKings, because that's their big time of year. Um, let's see, co-creators in the house, tired, need some coffee. What's going on? Ago says, hopefully AMC will take the majority of short sales today. Would be nice for Clove to not get so hard on the open. Yeah, that could be the case too, right? I mean, if they're trying to control stocks and they gotta spend their money wisely or wherever they think they can to slow down momentum. If I was doing that and I had to pick one, I'd try to slow down AMC right now, just because to me, I mean, just looking at the numbers, and I could be absolutely off base, but it really looks like AMC is got the most loaded up on the chain yesterday. Like that's where I see the most differential right now. Um, and actually, you know what? There is. Let me pull up TRADYTICS again, because there is this cool little gamma indicator on there that kind of gives you an idea of how much movement you're going to see. So if we look here, like this is Clove. Right now it's saying zero point 0.9 million. So basically, almost a million shares need to be bought every time the price moves up 1%. That's what this gamma exposure is, right? So it's zero point 0.9 for Clove. Let's just take a look. Just want to see if like what I was looking at seems to be accurate. Yeah. So 17 million in gamma exposure for every time that the stock price raises by 1%. That's how much shares are going to need to be hedged. Um, and then let's take a look at GameStop. I just want to see if but that's what I thought I was looking at on the option chain, just from like, glancing at the open interest and what was sitting there. It was like, wow, AMC is primed for a run like now. And then GameStop too, but again, much smaller float. Um, but that's the difference, is that these two stocks already have, those heavy strike prices in the money. And so now that, and in order to get the gamma squeeze kicked off, we need, as Clove, we need to get the 9 and 10 strikes in the money. And that's going to increase that gamma rating, that we see there. And that's what's going to really, get things moving. Let's see here. Good morning, Clove fam. Good morning, Coach B. What's up, co-creator? Glad you made it in early. Ecom, good morning. What's going on? Oh, Lisa, I passed up your comment. I read it and then I didn't go back to it. Did you watch Champ Vibe last night? I started to. I was watching the beginning of his stream, and then I had a back to school night Zoom meeting for my kids. So then I had to sign off and jump on the Zoom meeting, and I didn't get a chance to catch the rest. But Champ Vibe is amazing. That dude, he really he's really intelligent with the technical analysis and everything else, and got some really great insight. And it does seem like a lot of stuff that he was. And I know one thing I noticed on there that I didn't know. I guess he's been calling out that AMC was going to start moving on his stream as well. And for me, I was just basing it on that theory that I had posted about. But his was more on the technical side, and so it does look like a lot of these things are all lining up. Different reasons why, and we're starting to see explosive moves, and I think that Clove is working its way up there. Really, 9's huge. We got to get above 9. How much do you encourage your students to invest? I had a math class. Teacher had 9 weeks dedicated to stock market back in the day of newspapers. Well, I mean, I don't even teach any. I don't teach math. I don't teach anything having to do with finances. But we were talking about that on here yesterday. That I'm gonna start. And I guess Lisa sent me an email. I'm gonna look at it when I sign off here when I get to work and check it out because I do have like multiple credentials, and I think one of my credentials is in business and finance. So that's something I'm gonna look into. I'm gonna really check it out because I would love to teach a class on investing. Um, Noah, what's up? Good morning. JJ said had to step away for a minute. What were the important numbers as far as gamma on AMC? Um, it was just like let me pull it back up. Oh, you mean so? I think AMC's already in the middle of a gamma squeeze. I think it's already got enough in the money to get there. So we were looking at the gamma exposure on it a second ago, and basically every percentage point that AMC moves up now, and it's looking like it's already. So you figure 1% for AMC is about what 10% would be $4, so 1% would be about 44 cents. So it's already gapping up 2%. So that's 34 million shares, if I'm doing that right, that need to be hedged as soon as we open up here. So that's what I'm saying. I think AMC's already gotten to the point where it's in that range. So it wouldn't shock me at all to see a run right off the open. Fluffer, what's up? What's going on? Says it's hard to get up this morning. The Wyckoff accumulation scenario. Yeah, I caught some of that a couple nights ago. I was watching him. I want to say maybe it was last Thursday, and he's been talking about that for a while. Like I said, super smart dude. I got to get him on here one day too, man. I'd love to just kind of chop it up with him and have him start explaining some of the different ways that he looks at technical analysis. And I know he explains it on his channel, but I think it's always cool to kind of like coordinate with people and you know get everybody new exposure, myself included. And he was gonna come on. I forget what day it was. It was 2 weeks ago. The day when I ended up doing that long stream, it was like 5 hours long. I had texted him like, "Hey man, you want to come on the show for a little bit and just help me kill some time?" And then I didn't look back at my phone until like 2 hours later, right before I signed off. And he had said yes a while back, and then I felt terrible about it. What's up, D Worm? What's going on? D says, "What's the scoop, coach? What's going on?" Champion Vibe said we need to see a pullback before the next phase. We are seeing that. Next phase is rocket. Faith, what's up? Good morning, coach. Thanks for all and keeping us informed. Happy hump day. Let's go green. Hector, we will rock it till September 9th. That's what I'm thinking too, or at least leading up to it. Like last time, GameStop, I forget what the exact date was, but in June, GameStop ended up peaking, I think, about a week before that date. CLOV peaked, I think, the day before that date. And AMC was also, I think, about a week before that date. So it's just really any time between now and then. I think the buying pressure is going to come in to move us up. And then once we move up, it really becomes a matter of, just what happens after that. Last time with CLOV, that movement up put us into a gamma squeeze and we blew out the option chain. Same thing with AMC. GameStop, that movement up got it moving, but then it got stopped at 350, which seems to be a huge resistance level for GameStop now. Have you started working on a stonk club for the high schoolers? That'd be dope too. I don't have the time though. I really don't. At least not right now to do like any extracurricular between working on my PhD, doing this, my kids, they're active in sports, coaching football, and then I don't have a prep period. I teach 6 periods a day, which is killing me right now. But yeah, so I don't have time. I enjoy my lunches. um, Zeke for Bleaks got his breakfast sandwich and ready for the show. Jason said, whatever I get from AMC, I'm going to put 70% of what I make into Clove and let it sit for many years, watering the flowers and seeing them grow. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, too. Like, when I see, so like on the last AMC run up, I remember posting a video a couple days before, similar like I just posted that video last week. Like, hey, it's time to buy AMC again. It's time to jump in GameStop. Looks like everything's going to run. I made a similar video in late May, early June. And, and I kind of did the same thing. I bought a ton of AMC calls, rode it up to 70, got out at near the top and just took all that cash and went and rolled it right back into Clove. I mean, that's why it's always important to have a little bit of dry powder. I'm just pissed because this time around, I made that video last week. Like, yeah, it's time to get into GameStop, time to get into AMC. Let's do it. And I didn't have enough dry powder. I was able to, add on to my positions, but I really wanted to load up a lot more on AMC, and I didn't get the opportunity to. How high do you think Clove can go? I don't think anybody knows. I think from an options chain standpoint, if we blow out the option chain, we're going at least to $43 to $50, right? Now from there, there's so many other factors, right? Like if all of a sudden shorts start covering and it kicks off a short squeeze, shit, no, who knows? We may end up running up to, 200 or seeing a GameStop move up to 480. The potential's there. If you look at the float size, we have double the float of GameStop, I think. So even if you said half of that and said we run to 240, that's possible, I guess. But all stocks are different. All the there's so many different variables that go into it. So I don't know. But from a pure option standpoint, which is the only thing we could really base it off of, is at least $43 to $50. On a gamma squeeze. If we got up to like $15, I think that propels us to 18, which has the potential to maybe blow out the options chain. But what happens after that? No clue. BTFD says, what subject do you teach? I teach video production and like the art of video, kind of like the kids use camera equipment, making projects, but then also learn about film. So a little bit of film studies. And then I got stuck doing yearbook like 3 years ago. That's a long story though. So I do yearbook too. I just want to skip ahead real quick because I seen the super chat come in. Low work, thank you. Said Coach the GOAT with the best vibes on YouTube. Grab a share today. Right on, man. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Video production. My PhD is going to be in education. So it's just a doctorate of education. Tell them about Kika. I don't know how to say it. Is it Kikibo? I don't know, whatever. But that dude, he was trolling Clove for the longest time. I've never even really addressed it, but he was trolling me a couple times. And I just kind of ignored it, whatever. But just the other day, this dude thinks he's so intelligent and smart. And he's always, trying to put people down on Twitter, kind of like our German friends that are always tweeting bullshit too, even though they are long Clove. But, he's always trying to troll people. And so this dude basically the other day was like, oh, it's time to open up an AMC short position, and starts posting all this stuff like it's time to go short AMC. That guy's getting drilled right now. He probably closed it out yesterday, I would imagine though. From what I understand, purchases are made in the dark pool so that market makers don't have prices affected. How and when do these purchase shares get to and affect the lit market? Not an amateur question at all. I saw your follow-up to that. So, basically, if there's no seller in the dark pool, all this buying pressure gets routed into the dark pool. There needs to be somebody there to sell it. If there's nobody there to sell it, then what happens? That means the market maker's filling your orders without owning shares. So they're giving you shares that don't exist, which is essentially a naked short position. But now the market maker needs to go into the lit market and purchase shares. They have to. Or, maybe get an institution to sell them those shares on the dark pool or whatever. But they need to acquire real shares to deliver to the clearinghouse at some point. They're just given 35 days to cover their FTD. Let's see. Noir says I was on yearbook team. Kenneth, what's up? Good morning. Yeah, it's not that I don't like yearbook or don't want to do it or nothing. I just got really screwed with it. So without getting into too much detail, it was like the yearbook teacher that was at our school left for whatever reason mid-year. I took over, reluctantly, which also took away my prep period. So now I'm teaching 6 classes without a break. And then so I took the class over and, starting to get things organized and everything. It's late into the year. We had an internet outage at our school for a month, and everything we do with the yearbook is built on a web browser. So kind of slowed us down. And then we got sent home for COVID. This is March 2020. So now I'm a first year yearbook teacher who's only been teaching it for like a month and a half. And I had to finish the yearbook all on my own from my house with barely any content because the class that I had at the time or that the other teacher had wasn't really doing much. So that was a pain to say the least. And then last year was supposed to be my first year teaching it for the full year. And we never went back to school. So how do you make a yearbook when you don't have content, and you're just generating everything digitally and having people submit photos? And I mean, we got it done, but so my first 2 years of teaching yearbook have been exciting to say the least. Ken Lynn, what's up? Good morning. Let me text Ghost real quick and see what time he's coming on, or make sure that he didn't text me already. All right, we got it. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure. Because I hadn't heard from him this morning. I hopped on the stream, and normally I'll text him ahead of time or something like that. And it's just, so I wanted to make sure I got it. So Ghost, if you're just coming on, Ghost is coming on this morning. And then, I always kind of say this now, whenever I do have a guest on, it really gets hard to pay attention to the chat. I always try my hardest, but, not ignoring you is just, I like to give the guest my attention, and at the same time try to keep up with you guys too. So I'm just going to apologize in advance. And then before he comes on, for anyone who joined late, I'll just try to give you the quick summary of kind of what I saw in the markets today and everything, or yesterday, what I noticed. Not a ton of, we got, I think, one institutional buy, so nothing really big there coming in on CLOV. Short volume was down yesterday, I think, to 30%. And then, but short, dark pool volume was up to 59%, which is the highest I remember ever seeing it. So not a ton of shorting coming in yesterday, at least volume wise in relation to volume, but 59% of the total volume yesterday in general on CLOV was routed through the dark pool. And the reason I think you're seeing that is because they're running out of shares to actually short now. I pulled this up earlier. We saw 59.5 million shares on loan. The highest I recall ever seeing was 61 million. And it looks like we're close to that now, because 1.3 million borrowed today puts us at basically 60.8 million. And that's right around the highest I recall ever seeing. And that goes back to early June. Cost to borrow on average is rising. It's at 8% right now. and utilization's at 99. And that, I don't think this updates throughout the day, so I think that, we're probably close to 100 now. So people weren't covering yesterday, or at least in relation to the entire float, it looks like more shorting yesterday than actual covering. And the short interest is still there, at least what's being reported. Max Payne still hasn't updated, but my assumption is it's going to rise to 850 because we saw a bunch of $8 puts come in. Also saw a ton of new calls and open interest being reported from yesterday. So in my opinion, if we can get CLOV above 9, above 10, we start to get into that area where now we have a bunch of open interest deep in the money, and we can really start to potentially kick off some sort of gamma squeeze. Now, last time around, we started seeing this movement, let's say this week, and next week is when things really got wild. So if something doesn't happen today, I wouldn't get too discouraged. We just want to continue to creep up. I think we want to try to get to 9, and then hold 9, get to 10, hold 10. And even if we just finish above 9 this week, I think that's a huge victory, considering that they've been able to pin us to 8 for the last 3 months. But I'm really expecting more. I really am. So that's my short synopsis of basically everything we've kind of talked about this morning. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's see. TN making it rain. What's up? Checking in, coach. Green Day today. 0 shares available. Oh, you know what? I didn't pull up iBorrow Desk. I don't think I've even looked at iBorrow Desk this morning. If I did, I must have closed it out. And it was showing 100,000 yesterday. Oh, still hasn't pulled up. So you're talking Fintel. And yeah, Fintel is showing 0. All right. Okay, it looks like Ghost is coming in right now. So again, if I fall behind in the chat, sorry guys. And also, while I'm getting Ghost in here, I just want to, hey Dan, what's up, man? What's going on? Trenton, what's up? MR Deep, what's up? CLOV separating from AMC GME. All right, so listen, as Ghost is coming in, the one thing I want to say is Ghost started a channel, YouTube channel recently. I don't think he's posted anything yet, but go follow him. I put the link down below in this video. It's in the description box. Please go follow him. Me and him are working on some stuff. He's gonna come in right now. Ghost, what's up? You there? Can you hear us?
What's going on? Yeah, I'm here, man. What's going on?
What's up? I was just telling everybody to go follow you on YouTube. You started that channel. Me and you were working on some stuff. We're gonna get some things cooking here shortly, and have something for everybody, kind of a Coach and Ghost combo show. So make sure you go follow his channel for sure.
Coast to coast was good.
Thing?
How you feeling, Coach? I miss you, man.
Good. I'm wide awake today, man. Let's see here. I got it on my interview mode now. I set up this where we get one stock big, just so that we can make the screen a little bigger.
Yeah, I'm checking it out on the screen. It looks good.
All right. There we go. Okay. We got everybody dropping ghosts in the chat. That's awesome. Here
I
we
was just
go.
about to give shout outs, man. Ago, Dan, co-creator, Mike in DC, Sir Lucky Charms, DJ Tardis. Man, I love y'all. Miss y'all. Faith. What's good, everybody? What's good?
Hey, so I've been talking about my thoughts and stuff for the last hour. What do you think? What do you think about yesterday's price action? Where we're going now? I know you wrote the the whole thing last week being, they were just trying to kind of keep the options chain suppressed, but tell everybody, kind of like what you're thinking right now.
I have two things in my mind. First things first, the reversal that I wrote. I just kind of talked about, at that point, there was two. You're never going to fully know, right? So for me, what I like doing is I like looking at every possible scenario. And we've gotten to the point where there's pretty much coming down to two scenarios, obviously, up or down, right? So last week, when I released the DD on August 16th, I gave the two options. You know, a lot of people I spoke to, coach, a lot of people I spoke to last week. No, we're about to, that's it. Gamma squeezes it. No, you seen the option chain? That's it. We're going to the moon. And I was just like, yo, man, I started looking at how much money market makers and hedge funds could potentially make if calls expired worthless. And I was like, yo, dog, there's no way. Because if you can make that much money off of calls expiring worthless, doesn't it kind of offset some of the interest you might be paying when you're borrowing shares as a hedge fund standpoint? This is not the only stock in the stock market. You got to scratch your back, I'll scratch your back when it comes to MMs and HFs all day, every day. So I just found it really hard to believe that they would just let this shit run before closing out most of their positions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think you're right too. I mean, there's been plenty of like gamma squeeze scenarios that I've pointed out in the past, and I'd say I'd have to go back and really like look through my account to really figure it out. But I'd say usually it's like a 70% of them don't pan out. And it's because exactly what you're saying, right? I mean, it's just you want to try to catch that one time where they lose control. You know what I mean? And it happens.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to happen today with AMC, honestly.
Absolutely. Like I said though, I mean it's either they reversed course and they're gonna just all right, let's let it go up like we want, or let's wait another week, let's capitalize. And I'll be honest with you, there's like for this particular week, I'm in the same boat now. I see the option chain is not too crazy, right? It's only up to 17. I see that the open interest is I think 50-60,000 as far as how many calls there are versus puts, and that's not a lot. So I don't know. I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, so institutions are loading up. The biggest sign for me is going to be when upgrades come out. That's when I know it's wraps, like they're letting it run. I'm noticing that ETFs added us. So to me, that's another sign that the reversal is here. Because, you know, you got institutions and ETFs adding CLOV to the actual scenario. What else we got? I mean, I also look at the F13 filings and I'm like, yo, I look at the average price on some of these institutions and I'm like $13, $14, some of them. I mean, we know the DCA. You think they don't?
Yeah.
So I think that what we saw yesterday was not so much whales coming in, but I think we saw kind of like maybe some of those same corporations start to add to their position. Some of those same institutions start to add to their position. And it goes in through the dark pool, mind you, because when you're buying 100,000 or 50,000 contracts at a time, or not contracts, sorry, shares at a time, that's why the dark pool even exists, right? So that they don't. So I think ultimately that's what we saw, because the dark pool data that I went across was still around the same 50-60% if I'm not mistaken. I think it broke 60% yesterday. And I mean, that to me, we could see a lot of things come into play that can show, hey, this corporation owned 100,000 shares at $14 an hour, $14 a share. Now the F13 files show their average cost per share is $11 because they now have doubled their position.
Yeah, they average down or something like that. I could see that.
That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah. No, I could definitely see that. And I mean, I think, one thing I know you mentioned was like that the option chain only goes to 17. That's only for this week though.
Correct.
But still, if we go deeper in there, there's some weeks and some months that go up to 43. I don't know if there's enough to carry us there. Right now, I know it seems like there's enough momentum in the chain to kind of get us to 25, I would say. But I mean, shit, I don't know. I could be totally wrong. But I think we'd have to, in order to even get there, we'd have to get to like get the share price up to 15, $15, somewhere like that would start to kick off one that could potentially push us up a little higher.
And I think, again, right, there's two scenarios. So this is the way I've kind of wrapped my head around it. Like, you think of like a 2 liter of Coca-Cola, and you drop one Mento in that 2 liter of Coca-Cola. You might not see much, but we all know a Mento getting dropped in Coca-Cola damn near causes an explosion in a sense, right?
Yeah.
So the way I see it right now is I see hedge funds have all the Mentos. Those are the shares that they're shorting. And they're trying to get away with releasing a little bit here and there, dropping a Mento in. And what's happening, you're seeing the momentum rise. Like you saw right out the gate, they tried to suppress it, almost to say, nothing going on here, guys. They suppress it. That way people tie up their funds on other stocks throughout that morning, where they now can't jump into CLOV. You're going to see that today, in my opinion. They're going to try to drop us a bit. This way, people kind of turn a blind eye, go to other stocks like AMC, GME, and start to invest their funds there. Because we all know when you're day trading, you're swing trading, you're momentum trading, all of a sudden your funds are tied up. So you can't just come to CLOV if you wanted to come to CLOV if you got a lot of money in AMC or a lot of money in GME, unless it runs up quick and you're willing to take some of the profits. So I think you'll see the suppression here to start it off. And then I think they're dropping those Mentos in. They're reducing their shares, and they're just waiting for it to not explode. As it starts to get too fizzy, that's when they're kind of putting that lid back on and waiting it out. And I think yesterday, if you look at the timestamps, when we find out on like Fintel, for example, when you find out how many shares are left and it starts to reduce yesterday, there's only two things they're doing. They're either reducing the shares as firepower to use them at, reducing the shares. They're borrowing the shares and they're going to use those as firepower, or they're borrowing the shares and instantly suppressing it right off the top. Put that lid back on the 2 liter because the Mentos are getting dropped in there too quick. They can't lose handle of this, in other words, but sooner than later, they're dropping too many Mentos in.
Yeah. No, I got you. It's like, I mean, it's just a pressure thing, right? I mean, the more you compress it, and I kind of was talking about that this morning too. It's like, the short volume was actually down yesterday. I think short volume, and that's just like if you look at the total volume on the day, 30% of that volume was short. Okay, but I also think that they're running out of shares to short. Utilization's getting close to 100, all that. But what did we see? We saw an increase in dark pool volume now. So now they're just figuring out other ways. But all they're doing to your use your analogy is they're just they're just loading in more into that bottle, and at some point it's gonna combust. I had used the analogy of like a spring a while back. Like, imagine a spring and all they're doing is just pushing it down harder and pushing it down harder, and the harder you push it down, at some point you're gonna let go or lose control of it, and now it's gonna spring up even higher off that. You know what I mean? So kind of the same thing there. But no, I absolutely agree. I mean, it can only go on for so long.
Yeah, at one point they're gonna lose control, and I don't even want to call it lose control, Coach. That's why I called it the reversal. I mean, I think them kind of moving with it. They're like, all right, you can't beat them, join them, and they got the stats to prove it with the increase in revenue and guidance. So, yeah, man, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. What I wanted to happen is happening, right? I didn't want the crazy launch pad last week. Like I was like, I hope I'm wrong for other people's sake that want that to explode that much quicker. For me, I'd rather have the train leave the station and kind of just slowly chug along and gain that price per share down the road. But at one point we're gonna see it flex. It's just that simple. 10% yesterday. It's nothing that crazy considering circumstances. It really isn't. I think the price where it's at now isn't even close to where it should be. You guys have seen my analogies on DraftKings. $52 price target is what I came up with based upon revenue and money they're losing per share, etc. I did one yesterday on Twitter, BlackBerry. I said BlackBerry, their only guidance they gave is, and I could be wrong, man, because I don't follow BlackBerry like this, but I saw $2 billion by 2024 in annual revenue. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? What about 2023? What about 2022? What about this year? And again, I could be wrong, But if you're projecting an annual revenue stream of $2 billion by 2024, and you got a market cap of 6.78 million billion dollars, almost 7 billion, man, and you're looking at us a measly three and some change,
Yeah.
that's crazy, bro.
No,
There,
I agree with you there. I agree with you there. Hey, real quick. So Pat M, thank you for the super chat. I just wanted to I threw it up there on the screen, but I just wanted to say thank you. Really appreciate it.
much
Um,
love.
and I agree with you too. In terms of, like, because I know me and you have talked about it, and I know other people do kind of disagree, but I'm with you 100%. Like that, a lot of these hedge funds, they're just going to reverse course, right, and they're going to profit on the way up. But what's going to end up happening is there's always a loser. I mean that's the stock market, right? So for every winner, there's a loser, whether it be the person that took the other side of the trade and it's someone in retail who shorts it, a different market maker that if all of a sudden we explode and run to, let's say, $50 today, even if the original shorts, people that were short bought calls and reversed, and someone's on the other end of those trades. You know what I mean? So someone's losing
Yeah,
control.
I had a debate per se on Clove about this, and look, for starters, yeah, there could be 15 hedge funds out of the, maybe 10 hedge funds out of the 15 are the ones that profited on the way down. Maybe 5 of them had heavier amount of shares and they lost, based upon when they decided to short and the reversal takes place. I mean, the truth is, if you can make money on shorts, which remember, this shit was at 28.
Yeah.
Let's not forget how much money they could have made from 28 to 26 to 22 to 20 to 18 to 14 to 13. Okay, fine. They lost from fucking 10 to 8. You know what I mean? They could have still made more money on shorting it on the way down than they end up losing in the course of the reversal. So as much as there's someone losing and winning, if I made a lot of money on the way down and then I reverse course and I lost a little bit of money at the bottom because I couldn't time it right,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden make money going back up, I accomplished 3 things. I made money on the way down, lowered my entry point, and then now I'm about to make money on the way up. And at that point, let it ride.
Yeah.
It's free money. I done made all this money off shorting it. Now I can buy free shares. I mean, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's always the buy and the sell on each side, but there could be one or two hedge funds that lose their ass for all I care. It still doesn't make, it doesn't mean that there's other ones that are going to make buku money off perfectly timing it on the way down, loading up on the entry point on the way in, and making that money. So yeah, man, I think it's going to happen. I think I'm looking for upgrades. I'm looking to see, um, you know, price action today, but really come Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
When I first put out DD back in, I think it was over a month ago at this point, I posted the DD. I think it was the one that you reached out. If it wasn't that one, it was the one afterwards, Coach,
I think
where I was
I hit you up on the second one, but yeah. Yeah.
second one.
Yeah.
I was saying it all along. Thursdays and Fridays, they're beating us up. These were the trends that I was finding from them ladder attacking us. We're not safe yet. They could very well ladder attack us Thursday and Friday. That to me tells me that the reversal hasn't necessarily isn't in full effect, because maybe they're going to try to reduce some of their positions now, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even on dark pools, like you suggested, to where eventually they're going to try and weasel their way out. But they might have to try and slow this down a week or 2 or 3, draw it out as long as possible. But the reversal's here.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
No, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and like even with the max pain, like we're talking about. Oh, real quick, I want to before we even talk about it. Oh, you are you? They're in the chat. They're wondering if you're drinking a White Claw right now.
Oh, hell no.
Oh yeah, like Michael said, you were drinking a White Claw, and then Scotty was asking, and I was like, then I looked at it, I'm like, damn, he is. Oh, okay. That's funny, man.
I drink on special occasions, like for real. I used to drink with the best of them, man. I'm a grown ass man with 3 daughters and a wife, man. I drink very seldomly. Not to say there's nothing wrong with it. I just keep my mind straight on all the tasks I have. I could never drink at 7 in the morning in California. Y'all got me. Y'all got it twisted. No.
Yeah, no, that's what. I don't know if anyone knows. I know you just said it that you're also in California too. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's early for me in Ghost. It's 6:20. The sun. I'm looking outside right now. It just now started getting where I can
Starting
see
to
the
peek
light
through.
outside.
Exactly. Starting to peek through finally.
But yeah,
Yeah,
in
man.
terms of the Max Payne, I think Max Payne's going to go up to 850 this week because we saw more puts come in at 8. But either way, while we have been trading below Max Payne for the last 3 months, at some point we're going to get above it and then just stay above it, right? And then it naturally grows up too, because now let's say we get to 9 this week, you're going to see a ton of puts start flowing in at 9. People that are betting against the stock that are going to start buying puts at 9, and all that does is now it's going to rise Max Payne up to 9. And then, if we're able to trade at 10, if this takes longer and we don't squeeze per se or gamma squeeze, and we start trading naturally, organically grow to like 10 or 11, you're going to start seeing puts flowing in at 10 and 11, and that'll rise Max Payne up. It's just when you have this violent movement like we had in June, and then you come crashing down, then all of a sudden your Max Payne numbers get skewed. And again, that's where they want to suppress it to. But I even think, I know I said it right before you jumped on, but man, just closing at like, shit, even 877 this week, but closing above 9, I think would be a huge victory. I think we're gonna do more than that, but I don't like to get my hopes up either. So I'm like, if we could just get to 9, close above 9, I'll be happy. Because
I
I'm expecting to see that attack on Thursday and Friday too. Like if I was holding, which I'm not, if I had any sort of call options that were expiring this week, and this isn't financial advice, but I wouldn't hold them past today. Just
I'm
based on, and not anything that's expiring this Friday. I mean, I would be getting out if I was out of the money. Let's say I had the $12 call. We rise up today. I get out. I would get out today. That's just
I want
me.
to talk about that actually, to be honest with you, because I heard you on a stream or two ago. You were mentioning someone said something to you in regards to like timestamps and dates and getting people's hopes up and losing money because they listen. I want to talk about calls because I think there's a lot less education out there than one would think at this point in time. I look at calls like I'm betting on a sport. At the end of that game, I'm either winning or I'm losing. If you buy out of the money calls for Friday because CLOV went up 10% yesterday, you're gambling. You're putting yourself in a position to where you're saying, at the end of the game on Friday, I'm winning or I'm going to end up losing, and I'm willing to take that. If
Yep.
you get calls, you don't have to necessarily get a call for this Friday. I get it. It's pennies on the dollar, and you can get more of them. And if it happens, it happens. And as long as you're aware of that, have fun. But if you want to like really strategically put yourself in a position and not worry about that game ending on Friday, think of it this way. If I buy a call for 2023, in a sense, I'm saying, hey, look it, I think the Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl. And as they go through 5 games in a row of victories, the chances of them winning the Super Bowl get a lot higher. Therefore, I can sell that same ticket maybe a little bit later on in the season for more money than I bought it because maybe they got home field advantage locked up now and this, that, and the other. So sorry, 1 second, guys. My wife is banging on the garage. But yeah, I look at it as very simple. I'm gonna turn my mic off for 1 second, guys. 1 second.
Yep. All good. No, and I'll just continue with that too, because I agree with Ghost 100%. Like if you're buying calls, especially out of the money, you're betting. And I say that. I mean, I even use the terminology of betting when when I talk about certain things. Like, hey, I'm looking I'm looking to place some bets. Like I have my long-term position in Clove. Shit, last week with that 820 expiration, uh, I had 20 calls that expired last week, but that was a bet. You know what I mean? And I go into that knowing that I'm betting that, and if it doesn't happen, and that's where I was talking about, like with those gamma squeeze potential, like when you see those, I usually hit like maybe 3 out of 10 of those. And I think even that's kind of big. For what I'm saying. So it's just you just got to approach it that way. You can't come into it and say, Because I and that's where I've tried to be more cautious in the way that I speak, because I do notice that some people, maybe even originally when I was talking about stuff, were thinking like, oh, this is a guarantee or something like that. And it's like, nah, I'm just trying to point out the potential. I'm betting on this. And the last thing I want people to do is lose money. And that's the other reason I started doing that playlist. Like, if anybody hasn't checked it out, I started a playlist that's options basics. And I basically started from the beginning of just like the really simplest terms of what a call and a put is, and then worked my way to now. We're just now finishing up with the Greeks. They're little short videos, but I want people to learn before they really go blow up their account on options.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
um,
But just keep it safe. But think about it this way: if you give yourself a little bit more time and you pay a little bit of a higher premium, you know, analyze the two at least. Whenever I've ever made calls, I've looked at like what price I'm saying, how much time I have to play, and what's the difference on the premium. You'd be surprised. Sometimes the premium for like a $17 call for the end of August in comparison to a $20 call in 2021, it's not that much difference sometimes, and you're just like, how is that even possible?
yeah.
So weigh out the options, and my personal opinion is I go for time versus you know
Nah,
no time. That way I have
absolutely.
time for it to kind of bounce up.
I think if you're just buying calls, you can your safest way from a time perspective is the more time, right? And I don't even consider like buying leaps gambling, but that's because of the way I buy leaps. Like when I buy leaps, I typically try to go at the money, and those are ones that I'm buying with the intention of exercising down the road. Like right now, if I was going to buy leaps on Clove, I would go January 2023, $10 strike. You know what I mean? So basically, I'm buying the $10 strike for $4 today. So it's costing me $400. And instead of paying what 885 today for Clove, so now I could buy two Leap contracts as opposed to buying 100 shares of Clove, and then
Right.
that gives me a year and a half to get my money right to go in and
Right.
exercise those. That's the way
Think
I
of it
look
as
at Leaps,
layaway.
huh?
Layaway. It's like
Yeah, it's like
layaway.
a layaway plan. But like when you start
Yeah.
going in with FDs or stuff like weekly options or something that's going to expire 2 weeks from now or something like that, that's absolutely a bet. Even if you go in the money, like I did that last week, and I actually made out pretty well on it too. But what I did was I bought on one of those days that we dipped last week, I went in and bought the $7 strike because I'm thinking to myself, I think we were as close to 7 as we had been all week. What was the lowest we went last week? Like 730.
737, if I'm not mistaken.
So somewhere around there, when we were below 750, my bad, I bought the 750 strike. So and at the time it was out of the money, and because we were in weekly expiration, I think I picked up those contracts for like 15 cents a piece. So now all I needed to do was get us to close above 765 on the week, and I'm getting dollar for dollar movement. So what ended up happening was what we closed the week at like 788. So now, or something like that. So anyways, I was able to profit
Seven.
off it, get my hands on, I think, 1,000 shares because I bought 10 of those contracts and get that dollar for dollar movement. And then I ended up just exercising them on Friday and bringing those 1,000 shares into this week. You know what I mean? Shit, now that's like an extra $1,000 in profit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just,
A hundred
there's
percent.
different ways to play options, but anytime you're going with short dated expirations, you're absolutely gambling. And I agree with you 100% on that.
Hey,
Um,
your chat right now is they got me right now, bro. They got me crying right now. I have to just read some of these real quick.
yeah, 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 yeah. No,
First
that's
of
all
all,
good.
Chef Daddy Trader, Chef Daddy Trader. First of all, yes, I am the ultimate family man. I love that. That's making y'all smile. I saw something about co-creator. I think on someone's stream yesterday, Tarheels, and he was like, "I love my wife," and we chopped it up for a second, man. We in the same boat, over a decade with our wives. it definitely is a great feeling to find that companion. I hope any of y'all that are single out there understand it will come and enjoy it because it is beautiful, man. It definitely is. I know Coach got a good fan bam himself, but
Yeah,
it's
we're my wife and I are, I think 12. We just hit 12 years just in June. So, yeah, kind of,
we
you know.
yeah, we've been together 13, 14 years, but we've been married for like what, 8?
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. But co-creator, man. Um, I'm smoking that Ghost OG for Ghost AF right now.
Man, we got everybody in here. Board AZ. I seen everyone in here is talking about wake and bake and everything else. I don't really met. I know I've said it on here before. I don't know. I don't like the way it makes me feel. Sometimes I trip out off the weed, so I don't really do it too much. But I do mess with some gummies sometimes just to help me go to bed at night. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the place in life. Like when you have a lot of things going on, and you smoke, and you're not used to smoking, yeah, you're gonna have that little bit of an overwhelming sensation that might not make you feel too cozy.
yeah.
But when you have like everything is done, you're smoking more periodically, then yeah, you tend to have a lot less hard time with feeling like that. But I'll be honest with you, I used to be a heavy smoker. Nowadays, I don't smoke. Again, special occasion. I need my focus like ultimately on everything. And it's not to say that smoking doesn't let you focus or drinking too much doesn't let you focus. Nah, it's just I'm on a whole different playing field right now. I'm focused beyond belief. And if I'm out and about or having a good time with family and everything's cool, yeah, sure, maybe here and there on occasion it's fun. But I'm focused, laser focused. So I'm just doing my thing. For all y'all that can wake and bake and still do your thing, good shit. I'm not clowning y'all, man. I'm jealous if anything because I love the way it smells. Love the way it smells. I
Co
never had Ghost OG. That's what's crazy. Might have to
Co-creator,
sample.
I'm gonna hit you up offline, and you could break that down for me and explain it to me because I'm always down to try something new. Yeah, he was just saying to try something different. But yeah, I'm gonna hit you up, co-creator. Hey, Ghost. So today I'm just gonna try to get off at 6:45. If you want to go another 10 minutes or so,
That's
um,
perfect.
just so I know I've been so like the first 2 days. I think Monday I got off at 6:30. Yesterday around 6:35. Um, but my kids started school this week, so I'm trying to slowly kind of, you know what I mean, like get into the groove of getting them where they're eating breakfast. They got everything ready because they have to be out the door at 7 um, in order
Yeah,
to
this is
get
my
to school.
daughter's first day back in. So my two oldest are going to school. It's their first day back in since the pre-pandemic, and we took
Today?
them out like 2 weeks. Yeah, we took them out
Okay.
like 2 weeks earlier than the school systems were shutting people down or shutting school down. We were like 2 weeks earlier. Like, man, something ain't right now. I'm gonna take them home for now. Wife's suggestion, like, let's just get them home, and they have yet to go since. So, my oldest is excited. My middle one is a little bit timid. She's like, I don't know, it's a new school and I haven't been to school in a long time, Dad. It's a little freaky. I'm like, nah, you don't love it, girl. You don't love it. She has no idea how much fun she's about to have, man. But I'm glad that they're going back to school too, man. So I'm in the same boat. I'm actually taking them to school for the first day of school today. The whole family's going. Whole family of 5 about to rock to the school. Be like,
No, that's awesome. That's so many similarities, man. I mean, obviously we're both in California. Um, my kids also didn't they haven't been to school since March 2020. You know what I mean? And
right, right, right.
they're starting a new school this year as well. So they had been going to one school for, since kindergarten or whatever. Now they're in fourth and second. And so just on Monday was their first day at a brand new school too. So I kind of went through the same exact stuff with them, and today's their third day
Crazy.
now. Um
So yeah, we had orientation Monday. This is officially their first day, but they're third and first. Even similar to the fact that they're 2 year, 2 grades apart.
yeah.
Yeah, man, I love it. There's one thing I wanted to bring up too today, um, and it's I'm drawing a blank. Oh, meme stocks, man. I don't know if you got to touch base on this earlier, but man, we want AMC. We want every single one of these meme stocks to go up because the more they go up, and some of these bag holders that were with them get trimmed and put themselves in a position to have some finances left over, they're gonna join. eventually they're gonna join. FOMO kicks in, but they need money to really push us to the top. So root for them to do well, man.
Yeah.
Root for them to do well.
No, absolutely. I'm over here looking at, dude, AMC option chain is just so crazy right now. I was gonna try to buy some today, but it's too much going. It's too expensive. I really think if I had to pick one right now, I would. Oh, look, it's already doing it too. I was gonna say if I had to pick one, I said this earlier in the stream too, that I think AMC is gonna gamma squeeze today. And sure as shit, it's it's getting up to 47, and if it crosses 50, man, it's gonna be curtains. And it's moving right now. Damn, I really wish of all of them.
I love that shit so much.
Yeah,
Look
of
at our
all of them, I
last
was.
time we squeezed.
What's that?
AMC is the one we want.
Yeah,
So GME, in my opinion, is more like long haulers. Like at this point, they are long haul. Like literally, they're really not fucking selling. AMC, I think that they kind of ride that same coattail, but at the same time, I think AMC is a lot more paper handed than they lead us to believe.
well,
And so GameStop running up. I mean, there's people at 350 holding bags. I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon, even if it hit $400 a share. Where AMC, I think they'll trim like last time. They will
yeah.
trim.
No, I could definitely see that. I made a video last night, basically kind of laying down like where I would look to exit GameStop, where I would look to exit AMC if I, you know what I mean, like what I'm looking at, and really, shit. If AMC gamma squeezes right now, potentially 80, and then if it breaks through 80, probably like 145, bro. And then but then after that, I'd be exiting. I mean, screw all that like holding. Who wants to ride their AMC up to 145 and then hold it back down to like 90 and go through this same process for another 3 months? I mean, take
See,
your
that's why I feel
profits.
different. That's why I feel it's different with GameStop. GameStop, oh, who wants to ride it to 400 and stay forever? GameStoppers. They
Yeah.
don't play. You know what I
No,
mean?
I've been doing that. Like on the first go around in January, I held from 480 down into the 200s, and then I finally sold. But when I bought back in at 40, these last two runs to 350, I held through both runs to 350, and I've been telling my friends, I've said it on here, you ain't gonna fool me a third time. Like if we hit 350 and start coming back down off 350, I am out. I'll buy back in when it gets back down to 160, or 200 or $40, wherever it levels back out at. But I'm not holding through that shit again. If we bust through 350, if GameStop busts through 350 today, tomorrow, next week, I think shit's gonna get exciting there. I really do. I mean, I want to see what's behind 350.
I agree. I agree. I think I said this on your stream a couple times. I think we could say all we want about a dying business and that. I still actually am one of the believers that GameStop is actually not a bad investment. Like maybe I wouldn't purchase more at this level, but when you think about it, 10 years, people are like, oh, it's going to be out of business. I'm not so confident, man. A gamer's game, and I know this, not personal experience, but I see how relentless these gamers are. And for me, I could see them being not so much the Amazon of gaming or streaming or subscriptions, but just being, having enough resources to be innovative in that field.
Oh
And I
yeah, I mean,
really see something. I can't.
No, I agree with you, and there's so much potential there. Like, and I agree with you. It doesn't have to be. So I think a lot of people look at GameStop as a brick and mortar, right? And that's the wrong outlook on that. But then the next thing is like, well, shit, how do you get into e-commerce when everybody does their games digitally now? But that's still kind of a closed-minded approach, right? I mean, and it's easy to say like, and the biggest thing is Chewy. Ryan Cohen came from Chewy. Chewy has like captured 30% of the market cap of the entire pet industry. And that includes pet sales. And Chewy doesn't sell pets, but that, when you look at the entire pet industry, Chewy captured 30% of that market cap. They compete with Amazon in any sort of pet related items. So you have now Ryan Cohen goes over to GameStop, takes over. You bringing in top executives that left Amazon, left Apple, left Chewy, left all these other companies to go be a part of whatever sales pitch he's throwing at them at GameStop. It must sound good enough to attract all this talent over, right? And so you look at the gaming industry's market cap, and it's expected to like be bananas in the next 5 years. And if he could even just capture 10% of that, I'm not even saying do 30% like you did at Chewy, but 10% of that, we're looking at GameStop trading at $600, $700 a share. Fundamentally, they're obviously not there yet. And, will they ever compete with Amazon for, probably not. But if they can capture a little bit of that and start selling, they're selling computer products, they sell TVs, like they're expanding to where it's not just video games. And then they're building an NFT team, so that which I think puts them into maybe there's some sort of token that's used game wide. I mean, there's so many possibilities. Shit, they got $2 billion in reserve, like in money, and they're debt free. They can go acquire some e-gaming companies and start getting into esports.
That's what I'm looking for. I look at like Skills. I look at companies like that. Skills is one that's on my radar that I think GameStop might actually purchase, because not only is it not only is it e-gaming, but it's also they have a platform that you can gamble amongst each other in these pools. And if you think about it like DraftKings, when you have a prize pool, win, lose, or draw, you don't care. You're getting, for a $10 entry with a $1 entry fee, you're getting $1 per person who's loading up, and all you say is guarantee $1 million as the winner in the prize pool. You're going to get more than 100,000 people joining that game. You're making buku money off of, it's like a poker table. You just take the rake every time they're playing. You're just taking a rake. That's what DraftKings does off of daily fantasy. That's what Skills does. And I could see GameStop buying like a Skills, Fubo. I can see it.
Yeah,
So that's why
and they have the cash on hand to do it too. So that So as we're sitting here talking, CLOV is going up, and GameStop and AMC are dropping now. So,
and I said this in the beginning, Coach. You're going to see an early drop in the beginning of the market. They're trying to distract us. Nothing to see here. They lit up AMC. Let everyone jump to AMC. Now you just purchase shares in AMC thinking that's the one today. And as it starts to drop, you can't sell. You're waiting for it to come back up to make your profits on your swing momentum day trade technique. And now there's not as much funds that you can push into CLOV. And I swear to you, this is not like some tinfoil hat bullshit. I've seen this shit happen over and over and over. I've been talking about the charts being parallel since January, February of this year when it comes to GameStop and AMC and the meme stocks. And I'm telling you right now, you're going to see. I'm telling you, CLOV, it's green today. I know it sounds like, I don't know about that. It's green today. It's going to be green today. I think this is the week we might see 10 plus closed by end of week. I swear to you. I don't think they can stop it anymore.
Hey, so real quick before we sign off, because I do got to get off right now. Dude, DraftKings up 4% again. It's ripping again. I know you're in DraftKings a lot heavier than I am, but I got a DraftKings position right now. My AVXL, I mean, it's doing bad right now, but it looks like it's spiking up. BNGO spiking up a little bit, but dude, BlackBerry did the same thing as GameStop and AMC. It went all the way up to 1168, and now a huge red candle. So gonna be kind of weird today. SPRT is up 20%. Just had a huge green candle. So I think you're right. I think ultimately all these stocks are gonna, they're getting hammered right now off the open. Maybe we already saw our dip and now we're ripping on CLOV. Maybe GameStop and some of these other ones are experiencing it right now, and now they're ready to take off. But I do think
they know what they're doing. Tie up the funds, keep it away. They know what they're doing, Coach. I will say this. I tweeted on Monday, growth stocks turn. This is the time of year where they're going to come back. And I said DraftKings. I said apps on your show several times. Skills, Lemonade, even Tesla's going to come back. I said all of these stocks. And since I've mentioned them, they've been green on green on green on green. So Stay tuned to my Twitter page, man. I promise you, I'm not giving advice, but I'll at least let you see some tickers that I look into, and you can do your research and find out if some of these make sense. But I know you got to go, Coach. I got to go too. We're in the same boat. I love coming on your show, man. It's
Yeah,
always
let's
fun. It's
keep
always a
doing
good
it. And
time.
again, guys, go subscribe to Ghost's channel. It's down below, and there's a link below. Me and him are setting something up. We'll be announcing it soon. Also, Tarheel Blue this afternoon. Go check him out. He'll be streaming. I think around 11 o'clock, West Coast time. So that's 2 o'clock on the East Coast. And then Ghost, you'll be on Tarheel tomorrow, right?
100%. Yeah, I'll be on Tar Heels tomorrow.
All right,
About to
guys.
turn up. About to
I
turn
gotta
up.
roll. Everybody have a good day. I'll be checking you guys out later on.
All right, take care, Z, co-creator. I see y'all, man. Take care, Coach.